Hi folks, and welcome to Truck King. Today we're looking at this, the 2023 Ford F-250 Tremor. Now the Tremor package is all about going off-road, and for this model year, Ford says it's better. So in this video, we're gonna find the mud, rocks, and water to see if that's true. Let's take a look underneath this F-250 Tremor now, and I like to start right up front with the recovery points. So you see them up there above the bumper. You get two really nice recovery points, and those are right to the front edge of the frame rail. So those are heavy duty hooks. Always nice to have that, especially on an off-road truck. Not just for pulling this truck out, but in case this truck has to pull something else out of the mud, or hey, even just a tree off the trail, nice to have the hooks. Now, as we roll back, I do have to say right off the top that I'm a little bit confused, Ford. Confused by the fact that this is your off-road Tremor, and I don't have a front skid plate up here. This whole area here is totally exposed, and it just seems like an obvious candidate for a nice front skid plate, and it's not here. This differential pumpkin, that's the lowest hanging spot in your front end, and this thing is absolutely gonna take a beating. It would have anyways with the skid, but with the skid plate here, if it hit the skid first, the truck might kind of bounce up over. There's just a lot of exposed components, and I'm just surprised to see no front skid plate. And then I'm also surprised to see, as we roll back, another piece of componentry, and I'll be honest, internet, I don't know what this thing is. If you know, please tell me, but it's hanging down incredibly low. You can already see here on the edge of it, it's been scraped once. So it just looks like something that was stuck here after the fact because they needed a spot for it, but not thoughtfully placed for an off-road truck. So I hope this thing does okay when we get it out there into the mud. Now, as we roll back, we get to our first real skid plate. That's right here. This is for the transfer case, and that is a steel skid plate. This is our magnet to check steel versus aluminum. So I like that you get the transfer case skid plate, and then at the back, a proper steel skid plate also for the fuel tank, and that's a nice long skid plate as well. So fuel tank and transfer case are covered. The front end is very uncovered, and then at the very back, you do get a full-size spare tire. Let's talk off-road numbers now, and there's a bunch that you need to know. First of all, a set of 35-inch Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack tires, and that helps this truck get up to an overall ground clearance of 10.8 inches. Now, talking about approach angle, you're 31.6 in the front and 24.5 on your departure angle out back. So besides the physical things that makes the truck good off-road, like all the numbers I just talked about, there's more technology now for 2023 also helping to make the truck better off-road. So the first thing I'm going to show you is when you shift it down into four-wheel drive low, the cameras come up automatically there on the screen. This is your off-road suite of cameras. First thing you'll notice, you get those tire treads, the predictive treads that actually show exactly where your front tires are gonna end up. I also love that they use the entire screen here to show you this picture. And then look, you get a load of views. There are 13 total cameras here. Really is quite a few. And this will just stay on indefinitely while you're going off-road. This is a great one. Look, you can see directly up to your front tires. So if you are rolling over rocks or you're rolling over unknown terrain, this is just going to allow you to see exactly what you're on. There's looking down at your rears. There's your bed view. Not sure why you'd want that off-road, but you never know. There's your just regular rear view down at the hitch, and then again looking down the sides to the back. A lot of great camera views, and these days having a spotter is still helpful, but it is less necessary than ever. So now the other technology here, all is down here on this one knob. So first of all, we can push it in, and that will turn on Trail Turn Assist. So Trail Turn Assist is basically going to drag the rear inside wheel on a turn. So if I'm turning to the driver's side to my left, it's gonna drag that rear driver's side wheel to allow the truck to pivot around the wheel. And Ford says it can actually increase our turning radius on this truck by 40%. And that's something you're gonna see in practice in just a minute. And then the last thing I wanna show you, we do of course have a suite of drive modes here on this truck. So it starts over there in eco mode. We don't need to exit. And then we have tow haul mode, normal, slippery roads, off-road mode, which is new for 2023, and then rock crawl mode. Plus you get those cool little graphics, and the entire screen graphic changes based on which mode you're in. So a lot of new great technology, and now we gotta go put it to the test. Okay, now it's time for the ditch crossing, and I'm still in 4 high, and I'm not gonna lock up just yet. I don't think I'm gonna need it. I think this is usually mostly just a test of clearance, whether the bumpers and whether the belly is gonna clear, and I think this truck's gonna be fine. So let's just walk in it real slow and we'll find out. This is also the first point I should mention. This truck has a front limited slip differential. No front locker in the Tremor, but I do have a limited slip. So right around here, if I start to slip, I think that front limited will help me. Oh man, so far so good. I don't think I've contacted at all. I'm just crawling through here super slow. No problem. Oh, bit of tire spin there. But that made the ditch crossing look like a joke. That was simple as can be. 35-inch tires is a big deal. It makes a big difference, and I think that's what really helped us there. But also the angles. This thing really is up off the ground quite a ways. The steps aren't hanging down low or anything like that. So yeah, great clearance here on the Tremor coming through the ditch. Now next up, we're gonna go to the offset ruts. So this is to test our lockers. As I mentioned, we have a rear locker here, but only a front limited slip. And with that setup, there's actually a good chance I'm not even gonna need to lock up at all. So I'm gonna try to just creep through here without the locker, and we'll see what we can do. Because the other truth is these days, traction control systems are so good that usually they're able to send the power across just using brake force. And that a lot of the times is enough to get you through a situation like this. This is also gonna test articulation. Okay, we're starting to lift now. We're lifting rear passenger now. So far I felt no slip. Oh, now we're slipping. The tiniest bit there, the tiniest bit. And once again, now we're lifting our front driver. It's creeping through like it's fully locked up. Oh, there's a bit of slip there. But the front end is pulling us through. That limited slip in the front end was way more than enough to just pull us through. For no lockers, that was impressive. And I know a lot of folks will probably say, why didn't you put in a front locker? I'd love to have it. In a lot of situations, a front limited slip is nearly as good, and that kind of proved it right there. Plus, it's always ready to go. I don't have to turn it on, operate it, anything like that. A limited slip is just there, ready to go. The second it starts slipping, power goes across. That was smooth as can be. So besides the fact that this truck is feeling big out here, it's also feeling incredibly capable. And now it's time to head to a real off-road trail, the left hook, to put her to the test. As we head over to the left hook, I just want to talk a little bit more about the truck you see in this video. So this is a Tremor XLT. It's actually the most affordable way you can get the Tremor. And I need to go back into four-wheel drive because I'm slipping all over the place. There we go. So this is the most affordable Tremor that you can get with the XLT package, because Tremor can then also be added onto Lariat, onto King Ranch, onto Platinum, and Limited. So you can get yourself a luxury Tremor if you want it. Now on XLT, the only thing that's really different, or one of the main differences, is you get the smaller screen as standard. But here on our truck today, we do have the 12-inch touchscreen, although on this truck, that is an option. Still nice to have the big screen. And then another option that we don't have here on XLT is the 12,000-pound Warn winch, which now comes from the factory on the Tremor. You have to get at least the Lariat or above to get the winch. So we don't get the winch on our truck, which is too bad, but still, it's really cool that Ford now offers the winch. And we can be honest, they're playing catch up with Ram. Ram's had the winch on the Power Wagon for the longest time, and Ford decided to catch up. But this isn't the same philosophy as the Ram Power Wagon. When Ram first jumped into that segment, they decided, let's make this thing the best off-roader we can and forget about towing and payload. And a lot of people like that, but a lot of folks kind of said, look, it's an HD truck, we should focus more on towing and payload. And that's what Ford did. When they jumped into the segment, they said, we're going to give you good off-roading. We're not going to go as far as Ram with things like the coil springs in the back and with things like a fully disconnectable front sway bar. But of course, here we have 18,200 pounds of max conventional towing. Whoa, which blows the Ram out of the water. So yes, there are a couple different HD off-road options. The Silverado ZR2 heavy duty is coming. We haven't actually driven that thing yet though, so can't talk too much about it. But there's different philosophies here, absolutely. Ford goes for the all-round philosophy of a good off-roader that can still tow, whereas Ram just says, focus on off-road and to heck with towing and payload. So if you're looking at an HD off-roader, you have to understand again that these companies all kind of took a different approach to this segment. And then two final things I can mention here on the Super Duty. We do have off-road screens. Over here on my center stack, you can just bring up this small off-road screen. One of the things I like, look, that's my steering angle you see there. That's just a nice number to have so you can quickly glance down and understand where exactly your tires are. And then over here in front of me on my screen, I also have an inclinometer. I get the steering angle there. And then you can also go over here to just the pitch and roll screen. We're on flat ground right now, but always nice to have that to be able to, you know, prove to your friends how steep the hill was. And actually look at that, when I turn the wheels, the little wheels actually turn on the truck. Handy, man. A lot of times you do kind of forget off-road exactly where your wheels are after you've stopped, so another nice bit of information there. And now, folks, time for the real excitement. We're here on the left hook, and it's pretty muddy and soft out here. So let's go. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is kind of the obligatory statement that I make in just about every heavy-duty off-roader. This truck is huge. Of course it is, right? It's an F-250. It's supposed to be huge to be able to haul huge trailers, huge payload, and big things in the bed. But when you get out here on an eastern or northern trail system, yes, we have trees everywhere. It makes the truck feel massive. And I guess my point in saying that is to say, you know, that's part of the game here with the Tremor. So if off-roading is your focus, there are better sized vehicles, say Ford Ranger Tremor. That thing would be perfect sized out here. Any Super Duty or any heavy duty truck is going to feel massive. Case in point, I'm about to come around a corner. It's, you know, beyond 90 degrees, so it's almost like doing a hairpin turn. And I don't think I'm going to make it, but I do have trail turn assist turned on. Let's see if I can crank this big girl around this corner. Here we go. You got to bring a bit of speed and turn. There's the lockup. There's the lockup. Yes! Oh, it's spinning. Yes! All right, I legitimately didn't think I was going to be able to do that. That is a real-world application where trail turn assist is going to make a big difference. So we do have a huge truck here, but thankfully Ford recognized, hey, maybe we can add a feature that's going to make a big truck feel a little smaller, and that's exactly what trail turn assist does. Now let's go sink it in the mud and see what happens. And now, folks, time for the fun part. Let's sink it in the mud. I'm leaving it in 4 high, off-road mode. And you know what? I'm not even going to lock the rear diff. I don't think I'm going to need it. I haven't mentioned the tires too much yet, but Goodyear Wrangler Duratracs are a great set of all-terrain tires, especially in the mud. I've had them out here a lot. Not as good on-road. I will gladly admit they are a noisy on-road tire, but for what I'm about to do, I'm very happy to have Duratracs. And that's enough talking. Let's jump into it. Oh, it's so soft out here. It's pretty deep right now, too. Okay, feeling okay, though. Not much slippage yet. The trickiest part is always right here at the transition from mud to hill. Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. And then coming up the rocks. Oh, I try to stay driver's side on this hill because those rocks on the passenger side are getting sketchy. Watch that tree up there. and boom. Man, this Tremor is making this stuff look easy. That was a pretty uneventful run. And I just got to say it again, the tires had epic grip, the clearance was good. I didn't feel so much as a belly drag or a bumper rub, nothing whatsoever. Didn't even lock up the rear end, absolutely didn't need to. That's some gnarly, squishy swamp that the Tremor just drove through. And like I said, honestly, made it look simple. One other system I want to show off is the trail control. So trail control on Ford is essentially off-road cruise control. So I set it using my cruise control buttons actually. Right now it's set to 4 kilometers an hour and my feet are now off the gas and off the brake. This is all the Super Duty modulating its own speed all by itself. I actually slowed it down to 3 kilometers an hour to see how slowly it'll creep down this hill for me. Not bad, but actually, interestingly, it kind of lets go for a second, and then the truck jumps forward, and then it grabs it. Like right there, like right there. It's interesting. Some systems are smoother than others, and this one seems to want to keep allowing it to kind of jump forward, and then it catches up to it. Still fairly smooth, I'll give it credit for that, but a little rougher than some of the other systems I've been in. And then, of course, the thing with the off-road cruise control, more so than just a hill descent control system, is once you're down off of the hill, I'm now approaching another bit of a muddy puddle here, a little pit. I can turn up my speed a little bit and the truck will drive me right through here. So there's 8 kilometers an hour I just turned it up to and kabam! It just powers me through. So those systems are pretty cool. The thing I think about them is that for me, just from a fun point of view, no, I probably wouldn't use trail control. I prefer to do the driving myself. I think it's more fun and more rewarding. However, these systems these days, it can do things that I can't. It can sense slip instantaneously and then reroute the power or break one individual wheel. So in situations where you got to get unstuck or you're in a really hairy spot, the truck using trail control is actually a better driver than I am. I can admit that. So in some scenarios, I appreciate having it. And then I think the other most common scenario is just the simple fact that if you have a novice off-road driver, if this is your first time getting into an off-road truck, having trail control can take a little bit of stress out of it until you're a little more comfortable with it. So I'm not a huge fan personally, just because I don't think it's that much fun, but I totally recognize the benefits of having a system like this. Well folks, we have come to the end of this video, and as you can see by the mud on the truck, we've had a good time today. Well, what's the verdict on this Tremor? Honestly, Ford took what was already a good heavy-duty off-road truck and they made it better. It's better off-road now. It tows more now for 2023. It's hard to find things to complain about. Maybe the price tag, but hey, if you can afford it, this truck is going to deliver some pretty incredible off-road performance. So like I said, that's it for this one. Now please go below. I need to hear from you. Let me know what you think of the F-250 Tremor. While you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the join button to become a member of Truck King, and then come right back here to the channel to see what we're testing next. See ya!